These are the only 10 women's shoe brands truly worth your money, brands that women buy once and wear for decades. Most modern shoes are not designed to last. The industry wants you to replace them every season. Cheap materials, disposable construction, trend-driven designs. Most pairs end up in landfills within months, but these brands built their reputation differently. Some have been making repairable shoes for over 100 years. And today, we're ranking the 10 brands actually worth investing in. Number 10, Dansko, making it one of the newer names on this list, but the craft it draws from is centuries older. The Danish tradition of thick-soled, hand-lasted footwear built for people who stand all day and cannot afford for their shoes to fail. Nurses, surgeons, teachers. These are Dansko's core customers. They have been for over 30 years. That is field validation no marketing campaign can buy. If you are serious about shopping smarter and building a shoe wardrobe that actually lasts, hit subscribe. The signature construction is a rocker bottom sole, a shape that rolls the foot through its stride naturally, reducing pressure on the forefoot and distributing weight across the whole shoe. The uppers are full-grain leather. The footbed is cushioned enough to survive a 12-hour shift and structured enough to hold its shape during it. Foot specialists consistently rank Dansko among the highest for long-day support because the construction does not collapse under sustained wear the way cheaper footwear does. Dansko supports a cobbler repair network for resoling and conditioning. A well-maintained pair lasts 5 to 8 years in heavy daily use. Retail runs $120 to $180. For a shoe that can survive a double shift 5 days a week and still look presentable, that is not expensive. That is efficient. Number 9. Clarks. The design that defines Clarks is the desert boot. Is something most shoe designers still miss. Comfort is not about padding. It is about shape. The desert boot has been in continuous production for over 70 years. The Wallaby, another Clarks staple, has survived 4 decades without a meaningful design change. When a brand keeps the same design for 70 years, it is not because they lack imagination. It is because the design was right. Clarks uses crepe rubber soles, naturally flexible and resolable by any competent cobbler, and full-grain or suede leathers that mold to the foot and soften with wear. Core styles retail between $80 and $160. A pair of desert boots bought today will still be structurally sound and visually relevant in 15 years. Very few brands at any price can make that statement honestly. Number 8. Blundstone. Founded in Hobart, Tasmania, 150 years ago, this brand built boots for one purpose: surviving conditions that destroyed everything else. Farmers, miners, dock workers. People for whom a boot failure was not an inconvenience, but a real problem. The Chelsea silhouette Blundstone settled on is one of the most structurally logical designs in footwear history. No laces to rot and replace, no tongue to collapse inward, elastic side panels that hold their shape for years of hard wear. The upper is full-grain leather. The sole is thermoplastic rubber, durable, slip-resistant, and replaceable. The construction is reinforced at every stress point, using a combination of stitching and adhesive that prevents delamination. The single most common failure mode in cheaper boots, where the upper peels away from the sole after one hard season. Blundstone offers a resoling service and supports an independent cobbler network across North America and Australia. Typical lifespan for a well-maintained pair runs 8 to 12 years. The 500 series, their most iconic style, has not changed in design since its introduction. Retail sits between $180 and $240. Women who buy their first pair at 50 are still wearing Blundstones at 65. That is the only review that matters. One important thing about Buy It for Life footwear: durability alone is not enough. A shoe that survives a few years but cannot be repaired is still disposable. The brands on this list use materials that age well, construction that can actually be serviced, and designs that still look elegant years later. That is the difference between expensive shoes and long-term value. Number 7. Mephisto. Founded by a shoemaker with one stated ambition: Build a shoe you could walk in all day without your body paying for it later. What makes Mephisto genuinely unusual on this list is ownership. A conglomerate has never acquired the brand. It remains privately held, run by the founding family's successors. That means no external board demanding margin improvement by thinning materials, no acquisition pressure optimizing for a flip. Just a family that has been making the same quality shoe for nearly 60 years. The construction centers on a hand-lasted upper over a cork and latex midsole, layered onto a natural rubber outsole. Cork molds to the foot over time, the same principle as Birkenstock, but in a fully enclosed shoe format. Every pair is hand-stitched in Europe. Material specialists who have examined the construction note that the layered midsole allows a cobbler to replace the outsole without disturbing the upper, extending the shoe's life through multiple sole cycles. Mephisto retail runs $200 to $400. These are not bargain shoes, but they are built with the same materials and the same care as shoes costing twice as much with a more famous name on the box. The difference is that the money went into the shoe, not the advertising. Number 6. Ecco. This Danish brand does something almost no other footwear company on earth does. It owns its own tanneries. Most shoe brands buy leather on the open market. They take what the supplier provides, with no visibility into the tanning process, the chemical treatment, or the hide selection. Ecco buys the raw hide and tans it internally across its own facilities in Europe and Asia. Every piece of leather in an Ecco shoe was processed under the brand's direct supervision from raw material to finished upper. That is a level of vertical supply chain control that almost no competitor at any price point can match. The result is leather of measurable consistency. Material specialists who test footwear note that Ecco leather shows significantly lower variation in tensile strength compared to market-sourced alternatives, meaning it wears evenly, does not develop thin spots, and does not crack along stress lines the way cheaper-sourced leather can. Ecco shoes are designed to be resoleable and supported by the brand's service network and independent cobblers. Retail sits between $130 and $250. When the leather is tanned under the brand's own roof, you are not paying a markup for a name. You are paying for actual material control. Number 5. Frye. Frye is the oldest continuously operating shoe company in the United States, founded in 1863 in Marlborough, Massachusetts. The original customer was a Civil War soldier who needed a boot that could survive a campaign on foot. That starting point has never really left the brand. Frye's signature is full-grain leather of genuine weight, not corrected grain, leather that has been sanded and buffed to hide imperfections, not bonded leather, reconstituted scraps pressed together with adhesive, full grain, which means the surface shows the natural hide with all its character intact. Full grain is the grade that develops a patina over years of wear, instead of cracking and peeling. A Frye boot worn at 50 looks better at 60. The leather records how you have lived in it. The construction on heritage Frye styles is Goodyear welt, the gold standard for resolability. A Goodyear welted shoe can be resoled multiple times by any competent cobbler without touching the upper. The sole wears out. The boot continues. Retail runs $300 to $500 for heritage styles. Divide that by 20 years of wear, and the cost per year is lower than almost any other shoe on this list. Number 4. Vionic. And before you say the brand is too new for a buy it for life list, understand what earns its position here. An Australian podiatrist spent 2 decades watching patients damage their feet in shoes that the fashion industry normalized and decided it was unacceptable. He designed his first orthotic insert for a sandal. The principle was direct. If the foot is supported correctly from the ground up, it does not fight the shoe. Pain decreases. Posture improves. The body stops compensating in ways that create long-term damage. Vionic is the only brand on this list where every single model starts with a podiatrist-designed footbed as the architectural foundation, not as a premium add-on. The shoe is built on top of it. Foot specialists consistently rank Vionic among the highest for long-term plantar support and lateral stability. Podiatrists who recommend it to patients post-surgery report that the support holds measurably longer than comparable alternatives. Retail runs $100 to $180. The support does not compress out after 6 months. It does not disappear. For a brand founded in 2011, that is a track record worth including on any list that takes foot health seriously. Number 3. SAS, San Antonio Shoemakers. Every single pair is still made in San Antonio, Texas. In a country where domestic shoe manufacturing has effectively collapsed, fewer than 1% of shoes sold in America are made in the U.S. This brand employs over 500 craftspeople in its Texas plant and has never moved production offshore. Not when labor costs rose. Not when competitors moved to Asia to protect margins. Not when acquisition offers arrived. The brand remains privately owned and unapologetic about its price point. The construction is hand-lasted. Every upper is shaped by hand around a form before it is attached to the sole. That process creates a precision of fit that machine-lasted production cannot replicate. Widths range from narrow to extra wide with genuine intermediate options. Foot specialists who work with women recovering from bunion surgery, hammer toe correction, and diabetic foot complications consistently recommend this brand because the breadth of fit options allows proper accommodation without sacrificing the shoe's structure. Retail runs $150 to $250, made in America. Built by hand. Not because it is cheaper. It is considerably more expensive to produce this way, because the result is better. Number 2. Monroe. If you have never heard of Monroe, that is almost entirely because the brand has never spent money on marketing. Every dollar that did not go into advertising went into the shoe. Monroe has been making footwear specifically for women in Mountain City, Tennessee. The brand offers more than 50 width combinations across its core styles. Not just narrow and wide, 50 distinct combinations. That range exists because Monroe's design philosophy starts with a foundational principle that most of the fashion shoe industry ignores entirely. Women's feet are not all the same shape, and a shoe that does not fit the actual foot is not a shoe. It is a problem waiting to happen. Foot specialists who work with older women managing bunions, post-surgical recovery, and orthopedic complications recommend Monroe routinely. The fit options make genuine accommodation possible without asking the wearer to choose between comfort and a presentable shoe. The construction is American. The leather is full grain. The soles are resoleable by a skilled cobbler. Retail runs $120 to $200. Monroe shoes do not appear in fashion magazines. They appear in closets owned by women who have stopped letting fashion magazines make decisions for them. That is the right audience. Monroe has served it without compromise for over 50 years. Number 1. Birkenstock. And the reason it sits above every other brand on this list, above brands with stronger American credentials, above brands with more engineering rigor, above brands with longer repair histories, is that Birkenstock is the only brand here that has, at multiple decisive moments in its history, actively chosen the product over the profit. The name appears in a church registry in Weinheim, Germany, with 250 years of uninterrupted shoemaking. The cork and latex footbed, the innovation that everything Birkenstock builds on, has not changed in its essential composition in over 100 years. Cork compresses where you carry weight. It builds support where you need it. It creates a footbed that is uniquely yours, shaped by your body over months of wear, not by a factory's assumption of what your foot looks like. Foot specialists have recommended Birkenstock for decades because the footbed does what orthopedic inserts do, but permanently, and without the add-on cost. About 70% of all production still happens in Germany. The brand runs a factory-backed repair and resoling program. New cork footbeds, new outsoles, refurbished straps. A well-maintained pair can last 20 to 30 years through multiple resole cycles. The shoe gets better with wear. Very few things in life do that. In 2016, Birkenstock pulled its products from major online marketplaces, walking away from a significant revenue channel, because counterfeits had flooded the platform, and the brand would not allow quality control to be handed to a marketplace it did not control. That decision cost revenue. It kept the standard. When the brand went public more recently, its prospectus did not promise growth at any cost. It is committed to product integrity and supply chain control as its growth model. That is the kind of statement that is very easy to write and very hard to mean. Birkenstock's 250-year history suggests they mean it. Retail sits around $175. The brand will repair what you bought. That promise has held for 250 years. That is why it is number one. If this video changed the way you see your shoe wardrobe, give it a like right now. It helps women who need to hear this find this channel.